episode 115, Catflap Chats. Visit catflapchats.com. You can find our website, merch, back catalogue, amazing partners. Normally, if you're in Cardiff or even out, I'd have a beer. Tiny Red will give me a few beers every episode, but
yeah,
because I'm down in Plymouth and it's 9 in the morning, I've got a pint of water. You got a drink? You all set up? Ready?
Yeah, I've got a coffee. It's a wedding day though, so I'm sure you could have got away with it anyway.
Well, the wedding's tomorrow, so I've got to drive after. Yeah, I've got to drive after this, and I've got to write the best man speech still. I'm halfway through it, so I'll try and stay sober until at least this afternoon.
Yeah, don't have one yet then.
Yeah, a bit too early. Hey, Mr. Lloyd White with Toulouse Olympic at the moment in the Super League, back in the Super League. How are things? What's going on? What's news? What's keeping you up at night?
Well, it's been a bit of a whirlwind couple of years, to be honest. I probably 2 years ago, I was probably thinking about hanging the boots up, and then I had another, I suppose, probably right place, right time, knowing someone who knew the coach over here, and give me I probably saw it as a bit of a lifeline, but I'm not sure whether they thought they were giving me a lifeline, but took it and obviously managed to work my way back up into Super League now, having not played in there for 3 years. So first game was on when was it, Saturday now? Yeah, like you said, it was a bit of a baptism of fire, getting used to the physicality and the speed and the skill as well. So I think it's going to be a interesting year for us, but hopefully not too long. Not long.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got, I don't know, like 10 years Super League experience through, like, Crusaders, then Widnes was that 6-7 years or whatever. Like, you've got that experience. I suppose, like, the rest of the team, I don't know loads about the Toulouse squad, but like the rest of the team, like, do they have that experience, or have they got no fear and it's just let's go and rip into it? Like, what's the feeling over there at the moment?
Well, like for me, I think it's pretty good. There's a good mix because we have got quite a few experienced boys. Like we've got, for instance, Harrison Hansen, who's played at the top level for God knows how many years, and then we've got the young French boys who are coming in, just like fighting every day to be in a starting spot or just to have a little sniff of Super League. So we've got both ranges of the scale, both ends of the scale, which I think it gives us a good balance. But I think only time will tell. We've definitely got the skill there, and I'd say we've got the personnel as well to be able to, give it a good crack this year. But it all comes down to the day and how we work as a team and how we fight a bit of adversity this year.
How does a lad then from Cardiff end up over in Toulouse playing rugby league? Like, how did you get into them? Because I know that obviously you've played in Australia as well. You've played all over the world. Played for Wales.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Toulouse, and what was going on?
Well, that's the thing. Look, obviously, being in Cardiff now yourself, rugby league is kind of it's a bit of like a hush hush word, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you're in with the union clubs or whatever, like league, don't need that shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of started for me. I was at a union club, and I'm not sure if you might know him. Do you know Dan Clements?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was playing at Rugby at the time,
yeah.
and he was the Wales 18s coach, and he was like, just come and have a crack. He said, you'll turn up and you'll play. We got a trip to Scotland and whatnot. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, perfect.
I was there. So that happened. Went up to Wales. Went up to play for Wales 18s up in Scotland in like a Four Nations tournament, and ended up being in like the team of the tournament.
Yeah.
And you kind of realise, actually not bad at this. And then that's when I got picked up by the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Playing down at Bridgend at the time, which was an eye-opening experience to say the least.
What was that like as a kid going into that environment? Because there was all this like hurrah about the Crusaders, and it was going to transform Welsh Rugby League, and obviously on Sky Sports and in the Super League and all that stuff. What was that like as a kid going into that environment? Because there's a lot of experienced lads playing in that team, and there was a decent squad.
Exactly, it was a bit. was probably a bit daunting for me at the time. And at the top, like coming through as a youngster,
Yeah.
I don't really have that confidence to walk into a room and, speak to everyone and like be able to maybe act the way that you would normally around your other friends. So,
Yeah.
it was kind of feeling your way into that environment and knowing where you stood. But then, like you said, they had players coming over from the NRL who played 200 odd games, and you're thinking, should I be here really? Like, I'm not sure whether I should be in the same room as them. But there was never anything like that from them. Like all we ever had from the boys that come over was support, and I think that was a big factor in my progression, probably as a youth coming through. So it was good. Like there's some really good boys there. Like I had some real good times, and I think probably that experience there set me in good stead to move on to Widnes when the time came, and then obviously Australia and the other things.
In terms of like as an early kid, were you still? Did you want to play union still, and it just wasn't like progressing fast enough for you, or like when you made the switch, did you absolutely love it straight away?
Yeah, so like yourself, I know you played a few seasons, didn't you? Here and there. And I used to do it just over the summer because I was like, union's done. Why not? Let's go and play league. And I loved it. I always enjoyed it. I think I probably played 2 seasons from like under 14s to 18s, just in between summer. And then it was like when I started getting in the fringe end of Crusaders and I got into the reserve team, I was actually I got made captain of Rumney Youth.
Yeah,
and I always remember this. I still speak to the coach now, but we got to like a youth final in the Arms Park, and it was still that much of like a hush hush thing.
Yeah.
We got there, and because I'd missed the game the week before because I played for the Crusaders reserves on the Sunday, and so because I didn't play that, he said, "Nah, you're not playing this week. You didn't play for us last week," and dropped. And that's what it was like. Whereas if I'd missed the game because I was playing for Cardiff Blues 20s or whatever, it would have been, oh, well done.
Yeah.
And it was just like something that's always stuck with me. Like, and I was just like, that's just how they see it. Like, league is it's not union, so
it's weird, isn't it? Like, I don't know, like a couple of things, I suppose, which you're probably not involved in, or maybe you were when you were with Wales, I don't know, right? But like Welsh Rugby League, it almost feels like it's not funded enough to be able to go and compete with other sports. So it's always the secondary sport, even though we've produced some unbelievable players. I say I'm not even Welsh, but having played 6 seasons of Welsh Rugby League for like various different teams, they produce class players who are now playing in Super League or have played for Wales or whatever it is. And then, union can't stand it because you might poach the players. But if you just tweaked it a bit, you could do both quite comfortably. And it was annoying, like, by the time Challenge Cup would come round, like I played the Challenge Cup now in, I don't know, rounds 1 and 2, three times maybe. We were going away to teams that we could absolutely beat, but we'd only have half a squad because they're still playing union, and they didn't obviously do both. Like, it's just so frustrating. I remember, actually, I don't know if you remember this. I think I broke my ankle, and I was coaching at Landaf at the time, like the under 19s or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, do you want to run out?" And I was like, coming back from injury, and I was like, "Yeah, play for the second. Who are you playing against?" And obviously, I used to play for Rumney, didn't I? Yeah. And they said, "Oh, I played the Rumney Rockets," and I was like, "Oh, class, like wicked on Landaf Fields," thinking it's a second team game, no issue, right? Don't know why, but there must have been other games off. I look across the pitch there, and I'm playing like 10 or 12. Is Lloyd? Is you, Luke Ford, Lewis Reese, and is it Deacon at fullback?
Yeah, Joe Deacon, yeah.
And I was just like, how the fuck is this a second team? You've got like 3 semi-professionals and a full professional because they didn't have games, right? They just got smashed. And I was just like, I was livid. Absolutely smashed.
Oh, I can't remember that one, but we had a really good team. And obviously we had a few of those boys. Luke did really well. Deacon had Wales honours as well.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember Lewis Mills as well.
Millsy, yeah, of course. I see him. I see him if I ever go to the gym. I see him in the gym.
Yeah, that's it. Down U-Fit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we actually moved up to Wrexham when Crusaders moved up north.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we did a year there together as well.
Yeah.
And Kia. And yeah, like boys just get lost. Like there's so much talent that goes missing through the pipelines, whether it's because I don't know, there's not enough funding or whatever in rugby league, but I do honestly feel there's so much missed opportunity because there's some absolute hidden gems there that they might not even make it pro rugby for what reason, but they could absolutely have a crack at league. But like you'll never know because the pathway isn't really there.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I know, like, there's a couple of mates that teachers up in the valleys, and they've got real strong rugby league teams, and they have scouts come down from like various Super League and Championship teams. Yeah. And the boys are being signed as like, is it the Knowles brothers up in St Helens? Obviously, like Regan Grace and that. You know, there is loads of players down here who, given a pathway and a bit of direction, would absolutely become top level rugby league players, whether it's Championship, even National One, Super League. Like I agree with you, mate. It is an like an untouched gem around here.
Yeah. No, it's a shame, and it seems like when we did have that team, Crusaders down in Bridgend, it was never really given anything. It was always they'll stay up there, and then when it went away, it was just it was gone. It was just like bang, gone. Obviously,
what was it like playing in North Wales compared to South Wales then? Like, I can't really remember now, but like, what were the crowds like? I know Gareth Thomas obviously come over for a bit, and there was a big noise around that. Like, was it better up there? Was it better down here? Like, what was it like?
I think in my first year, I think I played six games Super League. That's when I debuted, and that was the last year down in Bridgend. I don't remember too much, but they had like a decent crowd. It wasn't tens of thousands, but probably like 4,000 or 5,000. So it wasn't too bad. And obviously in the brewery field.
Yeah, exactly.
The atmosphere, it was good. We had a good setup there. And then moving up north, there was a real good buzz when we first got up there. I think we had like 12,000 the first game. I think we played Leeds at home. I remember it was snowing. And it was just packed, and I was thinking, could be onto something here. It was really good. But then obviously the results probably weren't what the fans wanted, and they don't want to come watch people getting pumped 40 points every week. So that probably had a factor into it. But as a team, it probably helped us as well, because it took a hell of a lot of the travel out. We were traveling half hour to Widnes or St Helens rather than bloody 4 hours every other weekend to play up north. So that helped us as well. And there is more of a following up there. Obviously with being so close to the border, but like for me, I would have preferred it to stay in South Wales, and just because without that Super League team and that top flight tier, I can't see how it's ever gonna kind of take off. So it was a real shame that they had to move, but for reasons beyond what I'd ever bloody know.
Yeah.
It happened there.
Politics and money, I suppose. Like, and again, like the frustrating thing is, I suppose, like you've obviously played at the elite level. I've played at like the amateur, but like National 3. I played for the Valley Cougars, and you've obviously got the connections there with the Scorpions, which are now South Wales, the West Wales Raiders, or whatever. Like that team in National 1 just seems to have like bounded about all over the place, like every couple of years as well. So there's no real like continuity. There's no real like. There's a loyal following, but it could have been so much better than it was. You know, went from down here to West Wales to Merthyr to West Wales. Like you can't build anything sustainable, and you've got certain players are making the squads every year, and they're trying to bring in players. You know, Rangy Chase come down. He came on here really open and honest, great bloke.
Yeah,
you try to get Henson in. You know, didn't stick out. I don't know why. Like, but I my understanding is he wished he'd have played it a bit earlier. Like he really enjoyed it. But if you're moving every couple of years because of finances and politics, and you're just not going to build anything sustainable. So how are boys expected to go out and play against these other teams, which are like rugby league strongholds?
Yeah.
and win and do well? Like, how are they supposed to do that?
Exactly. And like you just can't. Like the answer is you can't. You need to be stable. You need to have a pathway coming through with a good youth system,
Yeah,
and then coaches. Like, I'm not saying the coaches don't know what they're doing, but coaches who've been in the game a long time, they've got a lot of knowledge, know how to get the best out of the players that they got, and it's just the attraction as well. Like how can you, when you're in that unstable position, change of name, change of ground, change of like whatever, constant change. Like who's gonna want to spend their weekends traveling 5 hours up north to get beat by God knows how much? And it's just not very. It's not. I feel, for me, it feels like it's not a very attractive thing to go into at the moment. Whether someone loves playing or not, it's just difficult. They might be more inclined to go and play in the Welsh League in the summer.
Which I was doing, or go across the bridge. And then they're lost to the system in Wales and potentially might feature for England or whatever later down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a tough one. Talk to me about Widnes then, pal. You had a great stint there. Was it 6-7 seasons?
Yeah.
How did that come across? Like, because by then you're a fully fledged Super League pro. You know, you however many caps for Crusaders in the Super League. Like, what was that experience like?
Wicked. As much as we weren't a top flight team. Like we had some real good years, which probably get forgotten, where we were challenging. But like honestly, I really enjoyed it. Absolute great bunch of blokes there.
Yeah.
Like family, because when I started, it was probably because they were a new team. We had quite a lot of new signings, and it seemed like the bulk of that, probably 12 to 15 players, went through those whole 7 years together. So yeah, it was really good. And obviously, the move came about because Crusaders pulled the rug again. I remember it was a new licensing period coming in. So Crusaders had just finished their 3 years there. And there was talk about maybe the owners pulling out, or they weren't keen on staying. And we're like, oh, surely not, this can't happen, because I think we were like favourites to get the votes. I think over Wakefield it was at the time. It came down to it, and then it was the day of the announcement, like who was going to get the next franchise for the 3 years. And then Justin Harris was a coach at the time, pulled us in. He said, boys, it's done. He's literally done. The owners have pulled out. They don't want the franchise. They don't want us to keep going. So it wasn't even out of our hands. The owners just said, no, we don't want it. And then obviously we didn't have owners. So they pulled our application from the franchise completely. So it didn't even give another owner an opportunity to come in. So we just said, do what you got to do, get on the phones to your agents and sort yourselves out. So it was just like, fucking hell. I think I was just signing a new 3-year at Crusaders as well. Like I was in the midst of just signing it. So I was thinking, oh, freaking hell. I'm just kind of getting my foot in the door, trying to get established in this league as a pro. And then this spanner's been thrown in the work again. But luckily, I'd had a decent season that year. So my name was about a bit, and there was a few clubs anyway who were sniffing around. And Widnes came with a good offer. They came. I remember Dennis Betts and it was Paul Cullen at the time come over to Widnes to meet up with me. It was a good offer, 3 years security. I knew I was going to be playing because, I could have. Hindsight is a great thing. Like I could have gone to a different club, and they wanted to put me out on loan for a year. I don't know whether that was just a silly option at the moment, thinking, oh no, I need to be playing Super League rather than going on a Championship at the time. But I decided to not go with that and back myself to play at Widnes. Which it wasn't a bad decision at the time because I had a great few years there. But that happened. Moved over to Widnes, and then that first year played, I think, 15 games. I think. Probably won 2.
Yeah.
Out of that, and then I did my ACL, and I think that ACL was always one of those injuries like, don't do that. It's shit. Like you don't want to be doing that. And I remember, I think we were playing against Catalans. I just made half a break, and someone slid down the back of me, and my knee got caught, and I just felt it go. And I was like, oh. I had the ball as well. I just dropped the ball. I have that. Where's my knee? The line on the floor. I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, I'm done. Yeah. So yeah, ACL done. Out for 10 months with that.
Yeah.
And then we finished bottom that year, but obviously because we had the franchise, there was no relegation, so I was lucky. And then the year after, we recruited pretty well. I think that's when we brought in Kev Brown and Gaz Hopcombe as well at the time, who was like pretty much a superstar back then as well, along with Kev. So they gave us a real lift, and there was a real buzz then. We had an all right season then. I think we finished 10th out of 12th, or whatever. And then did my syndesmosis halfway through the year again, so I was out for another 10 weeks. And that was kind of like, well, it's not so bad now, but kind of the process with me. I get back in, like, as shit as it is to say, I've probably been a bit injury prone, and then you get that label, and then you believe it, and then you think, oh, when's the next one coming? So it begins hard to get like a bit of fluency and consistency with your games, and then at the back of your mind, you're always thinking, oh, what am I going to do with the next contract? And then when it comes, then you think, oh shit, it's a decent offer. It's probably not what I want, but am I going to get injured again? Oh, could do. So I better get this over the line before something happens again. And I probably shot myself in the foot a little bit doing that, because whereas if I'd waited a bit longer and got a few more games together, but then I suppose they're a business as well, and they probably knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
They probably knew that, so that's why. But things happen in funny ways.
I suppose it's tough. Like as a bloke, like how do you like, you know, if someone listens to this now, how do you overcome those lows where you're getting told your job's gone, Crusaders are gone, like go and find something else, and there's no guarantee? Because again, like it always baffles me though, you know, like the £1 million game, or when a team gets promoted, they've literally got weeks before the next season start. And so how can you, I don't understand how they can put squads together then that you're going to compete at that level. Like for you, you found out that bad news, you've done your ACL. How do you come back from that and stay positive and keep going? Because for some people that might just tip them over the edge and they find it real tough to come back from that.
It's hard. Like, it is really hard. But when I was younger, I probably dealt with it a bit better. And then probably when I had kids, I've got 2 kids now. So then when kids were brought in, and obviously you realise, oh, you need got more than you just to support now. It does become a little bit more worrying. But I tried to, like, obviously depending on what the injury is, if I've done something bad, I'll tend to let myself just feel shit for a few days before I kind of force myself to be all right. Like just deal with it. It is what it is. Like, fucking hell, you're not gonna feel great now. Get on the chin, deal with it, have a moan, feel shit. But then once it's sorted and you've got your plan, whether it's an operation or you know how long you're going to be, then you can think, right, back to work kind of thing. Because it's all right to feel shit about it. It's normal, because you know there's feelings that everyone has. But it's if you keep dwelling on them, then that can kind of stick in the back of your mind, and then you might prolong, and you might start like mentally not being able to get to the same space where you need to be to get back to your fighting best kind of thing.
What do you do away from the pitch when you know you got a bit of downtime, or like when you're injured like that? Then you like a gamer, like music. What sort of stuff you into?
To be honest, it's mostly orientated around the kids. Like I don't mind playing golf, but I haven't played too much the last couple of years. But when I get home, I always try and get out with my old man. But which I'll probably start now in the summer here, because it is great in the summer.
Yeah.
About 6 o'clock to beat the heat, and then
Class.
yeah. But yeah, it's just spending time with the kids. My boy doesn't give me 5 minutes because he's constantly, oh, come out the back, kick the ball. I just got in from training. Give me 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, go out with the kids. It's great being down here now in the south of France because there's so much to do. Like summer especially is fantastic, but even in the winter we'd have to drive an hour, and we're in the mountains.
Yeah.
So we've been there a few times. Try and get around to a few different cities, and then in the summer it's just beaches, lakes.
Class.
And yeah, honestly, I'm really enjoying it. If I had the opportunity, I wish I would have come a bit earlier.
Yeah,
because it is great. I'm really enjoying out. Yeah.
I love that with players, and in Union, especially in Wales, it's probably frowned upon a bit, like players going out to other countries and new experiences. So I think it's surely going to make you a better person. The kids are going to be more well-rounded kids growing up, whether it's languages, experiences. I think that's all positives, and if it gives you a better home lifestyle, surely it will make you a more positive and happy person to be around in training and on games because you feel great.
Yeah.
But and in league, people swap here, there, and everywhere all the time. Like it seems like it's okay to do that, whether it's jumping from Australia over here to the Championship. France are obviously coming in now with Catalan and Toulouse, and there's a bit of a resurgence in French Rugby League. But here, for some reason, like I say, in Union, you know, you'd be the enemy for doing that. And then look at the experiences that you're having; like they're unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main thing for me. It's not just myself now I'm thinking about. It's like I've given my children the opportunity. Like we've moved around a fair bit, which obviously it's not much stability from at the moment. But they've been to Australia. We lived in Australia, and now we're living in France. I'm thinking, what other kids their age probably have that chance to do that? Not just the kids, myself as well. Like you don't, like it's just not, you don't get those opportunities, do you, to go and do it. So I'm thinking, while I can, while I'm still playing, while I'm still fit, just make the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've got to move around, then so be it. But I think in the long run, I would look back and I'd be really disappointed if I didn't take the chance.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with it. It's great that you got a family that will support that as well, because I can imagine it's not easy. I know like Witness 6-7 seasons, but like since then it's been a couple of years of radio, a couple of years to lose. Like that can't be easy at times. So it's great that you've got that network to be able to go and do that as well. Makes it a bit easier, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it does. But saying that, my family have only just moved over in November.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and that last year was very stressful because of COVID and whatnot. And then obviously, are we going to get promoted? Are we not?
Yeah.
Because if we didn't get promoted, I was going to move back to Wales.
Okay.
And have a look for a club back home because it was just too difficult with COVID and everything going on. So that was stressful last year, and obviously leading up to the final, then sweating bullets, like sleepless nights, thinking, oh, what am I going to do if not? Like I've got a few things lined up, but need something solid. So yeah, back into last year was a bit stressful, but that feeling when it was all said and done and we won that final, what a day!
Class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say good piss up.
Yeah, it was class. I had to get back though. I had a wedding the next day in the Cotswolds.
Oh yeah.
Which I was secretly spewing about, but I'm not. I'm glad I went. It's one of my best mates' weddings. So that was Usher, but it was it was really good actually because I fell from the grand final high and then going with all my mates and onto another high for another 3 days. So it was class. That flight from Toulouse airport to Bristol though at 9 o'clock on that Monday morning. I don't fancy doing that again anytime soon.
Nah, that's savage. Stop that. That's brutal. Talk to me a little bit about. I suppose we'll chat about like Australia and kind of how that came about and like leaving Witness and so on. go out to Australia. And then I'd love to just chat about like your Wales career a bit as well, because there's a couple of interesting bits in there. So like with Australia, how did that come about? Like Reese was playing over there, wasn't he? Lewis Reese had been over there a bit and played over there, and that. Like, how was it that you went over
there? So basically, at the end of that last year we were at Widnes, it was up and down very and we didn't know whether our form as a team was just dog shit. It wasn't good enough, and that's when those middle eights were as well. So I had a few offers throughout the year. I had my best offer actually for my career to go to Toronto.
Yeah.
And I had that in February. I was thinking, do I want to sign it now? Because I had another team, top 4 team coming as well.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to match that, but it wasn't far from where I was living in Widnes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if I can get that, then I'll be absolutely flying. Another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So I ended up holding out, and I didn't sign for Toulouse. And then I pulled my calf after the second game of the season, and I've never had an injury like it. It just dragged out and dragged out. It was only a small, I think it was a grade 1, but it just dragged out. It wouldn't heal. I get back running, tear again, and it went from being 2 weeks off playing to 12. So I've gone from missing 2 weeks to half the season. So obviously the offers are slowly getting retracted then, and when and or they're getting retracted, or they're getting bloody cut in half, or what, or we'll give you a 1 year and see how it goes. So it's just fucking hell, what am I going to do here? So just kind of at that moment then, just kind of praying that we could still stay up in Super League.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have had another year or two there at Widnes if that had happened. So yeah, that happened. Got to the middle eights. Sorry, I missed the part there. I come back from that injury, and then I still had a decent offer from Toronto. So I played another 5 games, and there's Challenge Cup against Leeds.
Yeah.
I've gone to tackle someone. My arm got caught awkwardly, and I've just ripped my pec. So I'm out. Done then again. Another operation. Another 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think I got back just borderline for the start of the 8th, and Widnes weren't doing well. So they'd sacked Dennis Betts, which I think was a fucking stupid thing to do, because he'd been there with us for 7 years, knew us in and out.
Yeah.
We hadn't played well throughout the year, but he knew how to. I feel like he would have been able to keep us up in those middle 8s.
Yeah.
So changed coaching personnel, and we had London the first round, and I was I just got back fit, and the coach said, I would play you. I know you're fit, but it's only London. So if it was the £1 million game, I'd play you, but it's only London, so don't worry. Play next week.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to play. They all count in this fucking shit middle 8, and didn't play me. And then we lost our first game at home to London by a drop goal. And I'm thinking, fucking hell. In that middle 8s, every game is like £1 million game, because you just can't afford to lose any. And we lost that, and then I think I played the next week against Salford, lost that. And then we beat Halifax and someone else, and then come to Toulouse, lost that, and we were travelling to Toronto the week after. And I think if we lost against Toronto, that was us done. We couldn't even make the 4th and 5th £1 million game. We went to 6th. Yeah. So it was fucking hell, really stressful at the time. But we just couldn't find a win from anywhere. I don't know what it was. We had no cohesion. We just couldn't, whether it was a change in coach, changing players, playing each week, and it was just it was a nightmare, honestly. And everyone's worried then, relegation. It was stressful, yeah. So ended up going to Toronto, lost again, bang, done. I'm fuck's sake. Everyone's crying in the change rooms. Because it was hard. With all your mates, we've been there 7 years together, and fuck, what are we gonna do now? Some boys had contracts, some never. I was like in between, not sure what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a nightmare. But one thing I'll say after that, we had a good hour of sulking, but then the owner of Toronto gave McGrath Luluai his credit card and took him to his bar, and he just said, "What do you want?" So we ended up having a decent piss up just to drown our sorrows, but you know,
Yeah.
that was the only highlight.
That's cool. I love that about sport. Like, win or lose, innit? Go and have a couple of pints, like all together or whatever. Like, because what else are you gonna do? You could just sit and mope and nothing gets. You're not gonna change it, are you?
No.
So
Exactly.
just go and let your head down and deal with it.
That was it, exactly. And then I got on there waffling then, but back
No.
to Australia then, yeah. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do. The offers that came in, like I said, they were getting like cut in half or 1 year deals and stuff. And I got a mate who he lives in Mackay in Australia, North Queensland.
Yeah.
So they play in the Q Cup, Queensland Cup there, and he said, "Oh, why don't I'll see if I can get you over here." He was like the manager of the stadium there.
Yeah.
So that happened, and I had a contract through. Spoke to the missus, and we were just like, "Yeah, let's just do it."
Yeah.
So went over there. I think visa took ages to come through. So I think I applied for it in like September, and it didn't end up, or not September, like October, and it didn't end up coming through until March. So in the meantime, I was thinking, I'm not getting a wage coming through. I ended up delivering bloody mail for Hermes or something just to take over.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was ridiculous. I was just like, oh, I need to do something. I can't just sit on my ass. So I did that. I actually had a game for Newport RSC.
Yeah.
I had to run out there. And then I thought, nah, not for me. So I stopped playing then, ended up training still just to carry on. And I missed the first 2 games, I think, of the season. And I got out there in the start of March. Played, I think, 4 games. And then, believe it or not, same thing again, calf, same as the year before. And I ended up being out another 10 weeks with exactly the same calf tear. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got offered another contract there, so I signed it.
Yeah.
And then they sacked the coach.
Yeah.
So the coach who I'd signed for had been sacked. So then I'm thinking, you know, what's going on now? So I was hearing these different things from above, hearing from my mate who worked at the stadium. So the one day I've just gone, fuck, I need to know what's going on here. So I just knocked on the CEO's door and I said, look, I know coach didn't sign. I know you didn't sign me. The coach did. He's gone. Am I still in your plans? I need to know, because if not, I'm going home. And then he just went, "Oh well, you've had a few injuries." He said, "Do you think your body can still do it? Do you not think you should retire?" And I was like, "No, fuck no." I was like, "Who are you sat there like with your pen and paper behind that desk telling me, do you think I should retire now?" I said, "I'll tell you what, just pay for my flights home and then a bit of cash and I'm gone." And he literally just went, "Yeah, okay." Did that. And then it was my mate's wedding on the Thursday. I think this was like the Monday. It was one of the weddings on the Thursday. And then he kept joking like, "Oh, I know you're going to surprise me." I was like, "Nah, no, honestly, not."
Yeah.
So that Monday afternoon, he went, "Oh, okay, have a look at some flights and we'll sort them out for you next week or whatever." I was like, "Fine." Went home and my missus just said, "Why don't we just have a look for tomorrow and get back for the wedding?" I was like, I had a look, found some, sent them through to the like admin at Mackay.
Yeah.
Just done it straight away. Flew out the next morning. Gone.
Bloody hell.
I know.
That is mad.
But that was for me. That was my first kind of taste of like getting the flick or like feeling that you're not wanted somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna hang around here.
What level was that then? Because obviously, again, if you've been playing Super League, and then you've got the NRL out there, what sort of level is that to the NRL?
Yeah, so it's directly one below.
Okay.
So they don't you can't get promoted into that league or anything because the NRL's closed off as it is.
Yeah.
Well, apart from next year, they've got a new team coming in. But so they got I think there's most of the teams are in Brisbane, and then there's Mackay, one up in Cairns, and one in Townsville.
Right.
Which so the three up north feed into North Queensland Cowboys.
Yeah.
So the boys that don't play for them, it's probably like so each Q Cup team has about 4 or 5 players, like first teamers who don't play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they're not playing, they'll come down
Yeah.
and play for the Q Cup team. So it's still like it's a really high standard. It's a tough competition. But yeah, that's how they work it, and they try and feed those boys through. Then if you're playing well to get a contract, or you can get a trial through pre-season and whatnot. Which was that was like my original plan to do. And I actually started off all right, but then because I think I was 30 at the time, and they were like, "Oh, you're 30. He's from UK.
Yeah.
Now we'll just keep this young whippersnapper, 18-year-old coming through and
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like living out in Australia?
Class, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
it was really good. And like another thing, I would never change it for the world. Like the experience that we had out there was second to none. Like winter, 25 degrees, not a cloud in the sky,
class
all year round. Like just happy.
What isn't there to love?
I know.
I love that. That's what it's for.
Pardon?
I said that's what it's for. Like it's not just about on the pitch. It's got to be the whole thing, the experience for not just you, but for the family.
Yeah.
Like for everything. It can't just be about the money in the bank or the when you cross the whitewash. It's got to be about everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the experience of living there definitely outweighed the playing factor when I went to Oz.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I suppose that calf is just like, you can't even get angry with it anymore because it's like, for fuck's sake, again, like it's just frustrating, isn't it?
No, that's what it is. It's that feeling. You think it just comes out of nowhere. Like no matter what rehab you do before, it'll just like you could feel great on the day, and it'll just go, "Hello, remember me? Back again." Like,
yeah, you just piss off.
Yeah, exactly.
How's the body feeling now? Then, it's 33 now.
33 now, yeah. It's not too bad. Obviously, it takes a few more days to recover after the games, but I'm getting through the weeks, playing all right on the weekends. It's early days in the season, so I feel all right. It's just that soreness after the game probably takes an extra day or two to get rid of.
Yeah. That's right, mate. Get into the beach, mate. Get into the sea and have a dip, and you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll get over it.
I know. Well, it's lakes around here because the closest coastline is an hour and a half, but I'll take it.
Pass. I love it. Talk to me a bit about your Wales career, pal, because load of Wales caps. I think his first debut was like 2009. Again, like Wales, I don't know. It's just frustrating because again, you see some of the names that you've played with over the years in that Wales team, and they are genuine Super League stalwarts, veterans, 250 games at that top level. Yet when it comes together and it's Wales, I don't know if it's just, the funding. It's hard because England are just so dominant in the UK.
Yeah.
You've had some highs where you've won like the European Cups and you've beaten the other, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but like the smaller European nations.
Yeah.
You've beaten them. And then there's been other times you've lost every single game. And then like, I don't know when your last cap was, but I don't think it was recently. So like you've kind of gone through and played for Wales, and then you're not playing for Wales, but they absolutely don't necessarily have players better than you. So like, well, talk me through that journey and kind of what's gone on there.
So, obviously starting out, 2009, it was, I got my debut for Crusaders. I actually forgot to mention about those boys getting deported as part of that thing down in Bridgend.
Did they?
You remember? Yeah. So there was.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So there was six Aussies got deported because I think at the time, I think it was Leighton Samuel who the owner was down there.
Yeah.
He put them on a visa where they shouldn't be working or something stupid like that. And the government found out, and they had about 6 weeks to clear up their stuff and get out of the country. Otherwise, they would have been detained or whatever.
Mad, isn't it? Like, and again with him, I don't know the guy, right? But you know, the Celtic Warriors didn't work, and then the Crusaders, like, it's history repeating itself, and it just seems like shambolic from the top. And it's not your fault. But if the foundations are built on sand, it ain't ever gonna last.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. That shocking scenes. But so I made my debut that year, and then into the Wales squad. I can't remember who the coach was. I think it was Clive Griffiths, or maybe Justin. Maybe it was Justin still, or Justin and Clive working together. That was the European nations. I think that went pretty well. I think we won that. Ended up beating Scotland on the Brewery Field to win that trophy. And yeah, like you said, we'd always do pretty well in those small European nations, so to speak. Couple of good years then. Best year, I think it was 2010 or 2011 when we beat France out here in Albi. Because we were pretty much written off then as well.
Yeah.
Breezy got injured in the game before against Ireland, so he didn't play. So we got completely written off and managed to beat them by a point. Alfie had a great game that day. I remember he was our skipper as well.
Yeah.
So like you said, just like another one of those names of top players that we had. But yeah, did well there. And then the year after was when we made that step up. So we got promoted into that Four Nations.
Yeah.
So that was with England, Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
And us.
Little
old Wales, like.
You're top three teams in the world by some distance there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we played England up in Lee, lost that one, and then played New Zealand in Wembley. What a day that was! That was an unreal experience. I remember it was when they had Kevin Locke, fullback, when he was absolutely just come on the scene, killing it, and Benji Marshall. He was
my hero, mate. I fucking love the guy.
he was my opposite number.
Yeah.
So
did you swap shirts?
No, I think he asked Breezy. He went, "Oh, no, I don't want to." He went, "Oh, who are you?"
Yeah.
But I remember he scored a try on the line. He just done one of his goosies, stepped me, and I've just gone. Hit thin air, and I'm thinking, oh fucking hell! And the physio come on, and he said to me, Justin said you need to stay square. And I was thinking, are you taking the piss? I said, fucking you stay square on him. Literally made me nearly fall over. I was like, you can't stop that, honestly. When he was in his prime, absolute freak of nature, and I almost laughed at him. Yeah.
I love him, mate. He's so.
You froze then.
Oh, he froze a bit. I said, and then you've got someone so you got Benji Marshall, one of the best to do it, and then you've got someone like Sean Johnson coming through as well, who's also unbelievable. How do you can't people in the NRL week in week out fall for it? It's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, I didn't at the time.
They're mental players.
I was just happy to be there, playing on Wembley, having that experience of playing against those blokes as well. Yeah, it was class. I've had some real good experiences. And then Australia, we played in Wrexham, and that was another one after the match. After the match, I went up to Cooper Cronk, and I said, "Oh, can we swap jerseys, mate?" And he went, "Oh, I just want to swap with Breezy again." I was like, "Yeah, okay." But then Breezy had already swapped with Thurston. So then, fair play to him. He came back. He swapped shirts with me. So I got Cooper Cronk's shirt in the house, which is a nice little memorabilia. But
yes, I love that. They're fucking great experiences. I remember watching. I think it might have been 2013 World Cup, was it? And he had the double header at the Principality, and it was England, Australia, and then you against Italy. Who did you play that day? It was against Italy. Yeah, and Did you win or lose? I can't remember now.
No, we lost. We should have won. We had a bit of a stinker, and that Italy team was pretty much the Australian B team as well, mind.
Yeah.
Some absolute guns in there, but yeah, that was another class day. Like, probably had about 50 people come to watch me, all the family and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just experiences that you can't forget. Like, you're so grateful for having the opportunity to do those type of things. Like, yeah, just quality days, regardless of the scoreline. But it was good to look back on and some of those things that we've done. Frozen again.
As a player and a bloke, like you're quite level-headed. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Just about. Yeah, got you.
Fucking hotel internet, innit? Yeah, like some of those like experiences and stuff. Like as a bloke, like from what I know of you, you're quite level-headed. You're not flashy or arrogant or anything like that. Do you struggle with the pressure? Do you like the pressure? Do you feel pressure in some of those bigger games compared to if you're playing against, say, a Scotland or an Ireland, which I don't mean any disrespect, but you play against New Zealand and Benji Marshall, that is a different level. Yeah. Did you deal with it well, or did you struggle a bit?
I think I've always been pretty good. Like, I do get nervous. I'm a lot more calm now, apart from last year. Last year was I struggled to deal with the pressure just because of, if we won, it was like another year contract, family coming over. If we lost, I didn't have anything in stone what to do. Like, there was a few offers, but I wasn't sure whether that would be the right thing for me. So I did struggle a bit last year, literally right up until I got in the change rooms before that final. But prior to that, when I was younger, I just kind of just take it in your stride. And I think it's now only like looking back and when you realize like how big those games were and like who you were playing against. But like, I'd always get a bit of nerves, but never to the point where I'd be crippling, like, oh fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I'd always kind of think, it's funny, if I didn't have those nerves, I'd think, oh shit, am I not actually ready to play here? Am I not focused enough? So yeah, I don't actually mind them too much. But last year was stressful. But apart from that, yeah.
So when did you last play for Wales then? And like, because again, I've seen, obviously you've got Jamaican heritage and roots.
Yeah.
And I've seen that there's talks. I don't know what you're doing if you haven't made decisions. You haven't got to say it, exclusive on here or whatever. But what happened with Wales and what might you be doing? Like, where's it all going? Because you can, if you're still playing at the Super League, you can still play for Wales.
Yeah, well, I can still play for Wales, but last year I made the decision to swap to Jamaica. And that's like nothing against Wales whatsoever, just solely because in this sport that we're playing, we have the opportunity where we can represent two nations or whatever. And I always thought it's something that I wouldn't do. But then speaking to family members, and ultimately it came down to me having a chat with my dad. And I just said, look, thinking about doing it, what do you think? And he literally nearly fell off his chair. It was like jumping for joy. And I was like, all right, pretty much, you've pretty much made my decision for me there. Because if I can make him feel that happy and proud about me representing his his father and his family and my granddad, then it's a no-brainer for me to be able to do that. Will be class. So I just hope I can still do it at the end of this year in the World Cup now.
Yeah. Obviously that was supposed to be last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So where is the World Cup?
England, just in England. Yeah.
Oh, class. Happy they can all come and watch as well, and that'd be amazing.
Yeah, hit me up and see if we can sort you some tickets out. You have to wear a Jamaican shirt though.
Happy days, mate. Not a problem. I mean, doesn't matter. How amazing will that be? Like, you've had some unreal experiences, yet to pull that jersey on for the first time, like at the World Cup, and it all goes ahead, and you've got your family there. Like, that will be incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I had that feeling doing it for Wales the first time, and something as a kid, you always dream up, oh, I want to represent the country. And then I suppose it's a bit surreal. Like you always think, oh, how can you get there? But then when you're there, I wouldn't say you take it for granted, but you think like once you've worn that shirt and then you're like, oh fucking hell, I've actually done it. But you don't realise like how much of an achievement it kind of is. I think,
Yeah,
and it's probably takes even conversations like this now, speaking to you and looking back when you really,
yeah,
you do like when you're talking to someone, then you do like appreciate it a lot more because I don't often really sit down and look back on my career and think about what I've done. So
yeah.
pretty good to have this chat with you actually and have a
Klaus,
talk about those moments. Yeah,
people focus sometimes on like the negatives, or if only I had done this, if only I had done that. And
yeah,
actually, when you look back at it, like, you know, the £1 million game you've played in, playing at the top end of the Super League against, over the last sort of 10 years, or whatever, some of the best players to have played the game,
yeah,
with and against them internationally, and the experiences, like, not everyone gets to do that. Like, I played for the Cougars. I always resent the fact I didn't get a Dragon Arts cap,
yeah,
because some other players weren't playing at our level and weren't winning National 3 and weren't playing week in, week out like I was.
yeah,
But for whatever reason, fine, wasn't picked. But it gets me a bit.
yeah,
And like, I wish I just had that thing, just even if it was 5 minutes, I've done it and I've made it. So for me, it was always and I didn't look after myself. I've always carried a bit of timber, so I didn't give myself the best chance. But for someone who sat there and done it,
yeah,
and not just done it for Wales against, I don't know, Ireland or Scotland, but you've done it against the three biggest,
yeah.
and like, you should be fucking real proud, mate. And you're still traveling in a 33 in Super League. Like, how many people genuinely get to do that?
No, exactly. I know. Don't take it for granted. Grateful every day. Just hopefully get a few more years out. Be laughing.
Class. What is the future looking like then, pal? You got the family there now. Then,
Yeah,
obviously, you got week 2. This will come out on Monday, so it'll be after the second game now.
yeah.
But what's the future like? Have you got anything? Are you looking further past this year, or is it just play well, Rugby League World Cup?
Yeah, obviously finish this year off and hopefully still be in the Super League.
Yeah,
Which I think there's no reason we shouldn't still be up there. Obviously, it just take a bit of time for us to get kind of acclimatized to the league and stuff.
yeah,
But, we've definitely got a team to stay up. Then like you said, World Cup. And if we are still up, I want to do another year here. But if not, I may even look at French League one out here.
yeah.
Or if not, ultimately probably moving back to the diff.
Come on, back in the Rugby Rockets, boy.
I know. So do that, and then I applied for the fire service a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
But then obviously didn't go through with it because I was still playing. So
yeah.
I'll probably do that along with a few other things I'm working on. So that's kind of the plan for when you do eventually move back. Yeah.
Class, mate. Look, I love it. I obviously love my Rugby League anyway, so
Yeah.
we watch you with interest through the year, and hopefully you go well, mate. And it'd be amazing to see you run out in the World Cup again as well, because again, not everyone gets to do it once, let alone twice, or whatever. So
Yeah.
good luck to you, boy. I hope it all fucking works out.
Cheers for that. Thank you.
All right, mate. Hey, let us know if you come home or whatever, catch up, and I don't know, a little trip to Toulouse or something. I'll come and say hello, have a beer, bring a missus and kid, and grab a bit of food or something. All right, way.
Do it, mate. You'll love it.
I this year I want to try and travel as much as possible, because the last 2 years have been a shit show.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm all over those little weekend breaks, mate.
Easy weekend, Bristol to Toulouse, job done.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Top man, hey, look after yourself. Go well this weekend. I'll tag you in and everything on Monday, all right?
Okay, cheers, buddy. See you later.
Good top man. Cheers, Lloyd. Ciao, boy.